Even as the fighting goes on across Sudan, there are still some farms where crops are thriving and harvests look promising. These farms in the Tokar region near Port Sudan are doing well. Peace in the region has helped farmers continue growing food. But that's not the case in most parts of Sudan. Fighting between the army and the rival rapid support forces has forced many people to flee their homes and farms. Millions have been displaced across the North African country, and the UN has warned of looming hunger. Food production has reduced in many regions. Prices of most food crops have gone up, worsening the already high inflation in the country. The situation has been made worse by a shortening of farm workers. Many Sudanese say they are struggling to cope with the high food prices, particularly during this Muslim holy month of Ramadan.
There's a very big increase in prices. As a citizen coming from Khartoum, every day I find huge increases. I don't know why. And now in Ramadan, the prices have increased, but I don't know why.
The United Nations has warned that 5 million people in Sudan may face catastrophic food insecurity. And the World Food Programme says 25 million people in the country are facing food insecurity. As the fighting continues, the humanitarian crisis is worsening.
The UN reports issued on Sudan during the previous period regarding food shortages or famine in Sudan, I think these are reports that describe the reality that the Sudanese are suffering during the war that continued for a year so far. So, I do not think that they are false reports or mistaken or unrealistic reports. Therefore, I think that when the government denies the existence of famine or the threat of famine or food security, this is completely contrary to reality, because Sudan is witnessing war, and even before the war, there were reports that warned that Sudan was in a food security disaster because the Sudanese economy itself was falling and collapsing.
The rainy season is expected in May in Gedaref state near the border with Ethiopia. The region produces about 40% of Sudan's grain crop. But given the existing challenges, there are concerns that production may not be that high this time round. As calls for a ceasefire grow louder across Sudan and the fighting continues, many Sudanese farmers are hoping that peace will return so that they can go back to their farms and produce the much-needed food crops. Wajamungai, CGTN.